What a cozy show. Our Town, it's very much like a warm hug or a nice cup of tea or a nice sweater. I had always known about Our Town. Like it was a script that was on my drama club's bookshelf in high school. And I always thought I would get to it eventually, but I never did read it. However, I heard a lot about it just by being involved in theater. I didn't get the emotional punch that I was expecting and kind of hoping for. And that may be on me because I went in with these expectations of what I should experience at Our Town. What I was not expecting to experience were having my Broadway dreams come true. And that was because I ended up sitting on stage. And when I saw that they were selling these on stage tickets, there was a part of me that was like, okay, is this just a gimmick, or will this actually enhance the story and enhance the themes of the show? This is also a way that they could sell more premium seats. I mean, online, if you're going to buy tickets from their website, those seats cost up to $300, which is insane. However, I definitely did not pay that. When we get to a section on A View from My Seat, I will tell you how you too can get onstage seats for just $45. The best thing about this production, and the most important thing about Our Town, is that the audience feels on the same level as the actors. And I think that is tricky to do, especially when you have all of these extremely talented, extremely well-known actors in the show. It becomes a challenge. All right, how do we get everyone on the same page? And I think this production handles that very well. Again, there's that onstage seating, so they're automatically inviting the audience onto the stage in that way. And then the lanterns that hang over the audience, they never quite go fully dark. They never quite go out during the entire show. And I thought that was really lovely because it plays into the theme of we're here to see each other. However, I think where the play loses points for me is that, in my opinion, it very much explains the meaning of the show rather than letting me experience it. There were little things that the characters experience in Act 1 and Act 2. It's very much day-to-day stuff. By Act 3, I think what I was supposed to feel was that those small moments are supposed to feel more significant by the end of the show. And it's supposed to make you appreciate the small things in life. Like that's kind of what I felt like it was trying to tell me. It didn't have the payoff that I was looking for. The way the show is written, I don't think it helps that the actors are supposed to be aware of the show that they are putting on and aware that they are telling the story of Our Town. It's very meta in that way. We have the stage manager, who in this version is played by Jim Parsons, and he very much acknowledges that you are seeing a show with actors playing these characters. The show is very much set in the theater that it is playing in. I did feel that I wasn't able to get as emotionally attached to the characters as I would have liked to, because I kept getting reminded that they were actors playing the characters. So it took me out of it a little bit. And it did make me wonder if Broadway is too big for a show like Our Town. This production respects Thornton Wilder's vision and instructions that I believe are included in the script, but he very much envisioned this production done with very minimal props and almost no set design. I kept thinking about, this show would have been so nice to see in a community theater setting or in a school production setting where you're aware of the community you are watching this with, and it makes you really think about the people that you are seeing the show with and the people you are watching perform because you know all of them. I do think Kenny Leon does the best that he can at creating this feeling. These are pretty big name actors we're meant to feel equal to. Jim Parsons does a very good job at helping to create this feeling of community. As an audience member, I felt very taken care of by Jim Parsons in this role. Again, there's no real set or props, so it is up to him to really set the stage. Okay, now we're in a home, or now we are at a church, or something like that. I also really liked Michelle Wilson and Billy Eugene Jones, who played Mrs. Gibbs and Dr. Gibbs. To me, the story of the Gibbs family, I felt, was more compelling compared to the story of the Webbs family. Ephraim Sykes plays George Gibbs, who is their son, and I love George Gibbs. Ephraim does a really great job in this role. I would really like to see him win the Tony Award. And I loved his chemistry with Emily, played by Zoey Deutch. I love Zoey Deutch. I'm a huge Zoey Deutch fan, and I'm very happy for her because I did hear in interviews that she said that she loves this show, and she doesn't phone it in at all. However, I do feel it is unfortunate that I didn't feel as emotionally connected to the character of Emily than I think I should have. And again, that goes back to my point about the show being written as the actors being very aware that they are telling the story. Richard Thomas and Katie Holmes play Emily's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Webb. Both were good. However, Richard Thomas did leave more of an impression on me. I'd like to see him get nominated for this role. And I really liked a lot of the supporting characters, especially the ones played by Julie Halston, Donald Webber Jr., and John McGinty. I thought that these actors were all incredible. I loved it every time their characters were on stage. Here is a view from my seat. I was sitting on stage, so this is very unique. I was surprised. They actually did allow me to take quite a few pictures. They did have some rules. When you purchase the tickets online, they show you the rules on the website. However, when you purchase it from the box office, they give you a little slip, a little piece of paper that has the rules on it, basically saying no eating and drinking on stage. If you're late, they won't let you go up to your seat. And during the show, if you have to leave for any reason, they won't allow you to rejoin on stage. They were bench seats. So I want to be clear. It's not like you have your own, you don't have armrest or anything like that. At first, I thought that they were well cushioned. And then as we were getting into Act 3, I was like, all right, this is starting to hurt a little bit. And if you would like to sit on stage without paying the premium price, here is how I paid only $45 for my onstage ticket. I kept an eye on the performance date that I wanted to go. There was a lot of availability, and I went to the box office because I typically like to go to the box office so I don't have to pay any online fees. And I was able to get the $45 rush ticket for the onstage seats. And I learned, and this is a very important thing to keep in mind if you want to do this, the show actually requires that all of the seats on stage are filled. So if they're looking to fill those final few seats, or if they have a lot of seats that they need to fill on stage, you could probably get that $45 on-stage seat. If you're nervous about the on-stage seating, I can understand that. I think that some people will feel more comfortable because you are visible to the rest of the audience. However, none of the actors will interact with you. There's no audience participation. You're just simply viewing the show from on stage. The Barrymore Theatre has restrooms located below the orchestra level, and there's one unisex wheelchair accessible restroom on the orchestra level. Wheelchair accessible seating is only located on the orchestra level. Also, I should point out, I called this out when I saw The Roommate on Broadway, which you could check out my review, but there are quite a few partial view seats that are being sold. I called it out for The Roommate because I actually thought for that production that the set kind of got in the way, which is why those seats were partial view. Here, I do wonder if it's just the architecture of the theater, because the stage is pretty much kept as wide as it possibly could be. What might end up happening too is that the onstage bench seats that I was seated in may obstruct the view just a little bit, but I haven't been able to confirm that. I think I would be okay with it depending on which partial view seat I was in, but just know that Act 3 does happen farther upstage, so you may miss out on some of that stuff. So should you see Our Town before it closes on January 19th? If you want to see one of your favorite celebrities perform live, I think that this is a great opportunity to. If you're an aspiring playwright, you need to at least read Our Town, but here's a production of it, so I recommend you go and see it. And of course, if you too have a dream about one day being on a Broadway stage, that to me was very special. But again, get those $45 rush tickets. You can do it. It's amazing that this show that was written in 1938 still resonates with audiences today. There was a line that was about leaving a copy of this script in a time capsule so people will know what the town was like in 1,000 years. And that actually got me tearing up. All these years later, this show is still being performed. I don't think that this will be the last time that Our Town is performed on Broadway. So I do look forward to that next revival where I'm later on in my life, because I think that there is even more that I will get out of the story. And that's a sign of a very well-written play. Those are my thoughts on Our Town, now playing at the Barrymore Theatre until January 19th, unless it's extended. I would love to read your thoughts in the comment section. I would also really appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out some of my other reviews and theater-related content on my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to stay off your phone while at the theater.